there's the obviousness of the ego is in our sense of separate existence, but there's dimension to the ego. There's a thing that probably the only person I really talked a lot about with this was John Roger, because we used to look at this a lot. But that there is, we should call it the ego, soulic ego, almost. But it's almost like there is a sense of me, a sense of continuity that transits across all the existences in time and space. I've called it at times to try and explain it, the ka, which is an Egyptian word that they used for that thing that traveled into the afterlife. They had different things they talked about. I think there's like 5 different things, but the big ones were the ka and the ba. And I always related the ba to the basic self and the ka to the soul. So it's almost like on that deeper level of the story that something, because people would think, well, okay, you're born and you take on physical form, and then as soon as you're playing in the game of time and space, and so now you're participating in the idea of that there's a separation between you and me and up and down, and this is spatial. And I lock into this story of what's happening to this thing in space, that's time. So now I'm doing all that. And so the ego then is the sense of the sense of all that starts to come into existence. And so that's what I would call our operant ego, or the ego we operate with. And so then the idea is, well, when we die, the body goes, well, that ego no longer has anything to operate with, so it goes. Well, it does in a way, but there's something that has continuity and remembrance in there of that story. And that's what I'm talking about. So we go into that level of the I, the ego, the me that goes across time. That's where you're starting to have the challenge. And that one is in protest to this undoing of what's going on. Because that one has relentlessness to its maintenance of the story, the self. And this is a much harder thing to let go or to be freed of. A lot of times when people are like they're doing, let's say, the initiation path, and they're moving up to levels and all that, they're going pretty well, but they can't seem to bring back the memory of it other than, well, I had a dream, or I asked and I was told, yeah, I got it, but it doesn't really change them here much. For that knowing that they do have to become conscious to them, and there has to be a shift in this deeper story, this undoing of that, a freeing of themselves from that story that goes back from inception, past conception, to the undoing of it. But when you come into what I'm talking about, you'll realize that you're being meditated by Spirit, by God. And you realize that what we call meditation is really just a process we do to get out of the way so that we can allow the meditation of God to come through us and to open and awaken consciousness. See, we pretend we're opening and awakening the consciousness, but really the only one that can really do that is God, because God is all that. So we release ourselves from the illusion that we're doing it, and then it's done. So it kind of blows your mind, but it's kind of part of you's nodding your head, and the other part's going, what the hell? But that's how it always is with us. The great value of having both the understanding of as is known in the spirit and how it's known in the flesh is that the people you will be supporting, by and large, will be seeing it from the perspective of the flesh. So you can understand them and have compassion for them, have support for them in the journey they're doing, even though you may look at the journey they're doing as having a futility to it. You can support them to go through that process because they have to go through it till they realize the futility, rather than you giving them the futility or telling them, because people have to come to that in their own way. Can you help them realize it faster? Yes, but not as much as you might want to. They have to come to a certain level where they're really realizing, well, I really don't know. Then you can really help them. But as long as they're pretending to know, you have to let them have their pretense. In the Bible, Jesus says, I can help everybody but the fools. For them, they must go their own way. But the fool is the one who's declared something as so, and has declared that they know something that they really don't. Because if they know it, then they don't have to question it.